HOA Karen parked in my workshop, so I welded the doors shut and went on vacation. Have you ever walked out to start your workday, only to find a luxury SUV parked inside your locked private workshop and the HOA president blaming you for blocking her car? Because that was my Tuesday, and it was the last straw. I run a welding and fabrication shop on the edge of town. It's not just a job, it's my life. I inherited the building from my uncle, a retired Navy machinist, and built the rest myself from the ground up. Custom gates, sculpture commissions, trailer hitches, you name it. Folks around here know me as the Metal Whisperer. But none of that mattered to Karen. See, Karen moved in the neighborhood 2 years ago. Loud, controlling, obese, with a face permanently stuck in what I call complaint mode. She took over the HOA presidency within 3 months. Started finding folks for non-standard mailbox posts, harassing teenage skateboarders, and enforcing made-up bylaws like she was the mayor of a town no one voted for. Her house, right across the back alley from my property. At first, it was harmless. "Can you keep the welding sparks down during dinner?" she'd shout from her deck. Or, "Your security lights are ruining my ambience." Then the notes started appearing, passive-aggressive post, "It's on my fence." Then a formal HOA letter telling me to move my industrial activities out of a residential area. Only one problem. My shop wasn't in the HOA, it was carved out on its own plot decades before the development went up. Fully legal, zoned for light industrial, and definitely not subject to Karen's kingdom. But Karen doesn't believe in facts. She believes in herself. Last week, she crossed the line. I arrived one morning to find my sliding bay door cracked open. Inside, Karen's silver Range Rover, parked dead center on the concrete like it belonged there. And the best part? A sticky note on my steel workbench that read, "Urgent errand. Don't tow. I'll be back in 30 minutes, Karen, HOA president." No apology. No request. No permission. She broke in, used my shop like her personal garage, and expected me to rearrange my business around her joyride. I waited 30 minutes, then an hour. Then I called. "Karen," I said, "you have 5 minutes to move your car before I get creative." She scoffed. "You're overreacting. You have plenty of space. Be neighborly." That's when I snapped. I didn't yell. I didn't threaten. I put down the phone, picked up my MIG welder, and welded both workshop bay doors completely shut. Solid. Seamed. Flush. Reinforced. She was locked in. The moment she returned for her coat, iced coffee, full attitude, was already in my truck, suitcase in the back. "What did you do?" she screeched, pounding on the sealed door. "Improvised," I said. "I'm going camping. You can explain it to the sheriff." And I left. That was twist 1. Twist 2. Before I welded her inside, I installed a motion-trigger camera on the rafters just in case she tried to damage anything. What captured made my jaw drop. Karen had not just parked. She had rummaged through my tools, used my rolling stool to prop up her muddy shoes. She even dragged a tarp over one of my art piece and eagle sculpture for a local veterans memorial and spilled coffee on the crate beneath it. And then she posted a selfie from inside the workshop on Facebook with the caption, "Just borrowed some garage space. That welder guy doesn't even use half of it." That screenshot would later become Exhibit A. Back to present. I returned 4 days later. Peaceful. Rejuvenated. The garage was still sealed. Her SUV? Still inside. Karen had called the fire department. The sheriff. Even tried to hire a locksmith, refused once he saw the property sign, clearly reading "Private Commercial Space. Entry by permit only." The sheriff met me at the gate. "Sir, she's claiming unlawful imprisonment." I handed him the footage. 10 minutes later, Karen was in the back of a cruiser. Trespassing, breaking and entering, property damage, civil liability. And that's only where the fun began. Karen's arrest made the local paper by nightfall. Not because of who she was, but because of where it happened. Turns out, our town hadn't seen a trespassing charge inside a private business that dramatic in years. Especially not one that involved an HOA president, a luxury SUV, a welded door, and 4 full days trapped with nothing but her purse, a stale granola bar, and pure rage. But that wasn't the end. When she posted bail 2 days later, She walked into the HOA office like she still ruled the world. Makeup cracked, sunglasses huge, and confidence just barely hanging on. "Emergency meeting," she barked. "He welded my car inside a building. I want him arrested again." But see, while she was trapped in my workshop, something else had been quietly working against her. Her own board. One of the vice presidents, Tamara, no-nonsense woman who'd hated Karen's rule since day one, had accessed the HOA records. What she found. Twist 3. Karen had been funneling funds. She'd created a vehicle relocation line item in the HOA budget and reimbursed herself over $2,700 for garage fees she never paid. Because she used my workshop illegally. When confronted, she tried to talk over the entire room. Claimed it was a safety strategy, that I was volatile, that she feared for her life while borrowing space. But the camera footage showed everything. Her relaxed selfies, her browsing through my drawers, her sipping that iced coffee next to a piece of public art she carelessly stained. The HOA board voted 80 to remove her permanently. And Tamara? She filed an internal fraud claim and froze all of Karen's access. But it gets even better. The civil court ruled swiftly. I was awarded $11,830 in damages covering labor lost, cleanup, and temporary project cancellations. When Karen claimed she couldn't pay, I filed a lien against a Range Rover. You know the one. She had no legal grounds to keep it on my property. The judge ruled it abandoned. I filed the paperwork, towed it, and sold it for scrap. The eagle sculpture she ruined? The local Veterans Memorial Committee commissioned another one and doubled the fee as a statement. They unveiled it at Town Square 2 months later with a small bronze plaque at the base reading, "Freedom isn't borrowed. It's earned." Karen moved out quietly after that. No bouvier, no épalier, just a for sale sign, an empty porch, and her name scrubbed from the HOA registry. And as for me, I still weld every morning. Still sip black coffee while the sun hits steel. But now, there's a wooden board outside my gate, freshly branded and bolted to the ground. It reads, "No parking, especially not you, Karen." So now I ask you, when someone violates your space, your craft, your name, and plays the victim when caught, are you the one who went too far? The end.